In this video, we talk about validation seeking and how to stop it, how your words create your reality, and also your body image and actually building a healthy relationship to how you view your physical body. And for those of you that don't know me, my name's Kevin Crenshaw. I go by the Heart Guy, and I help people with matters of the heart. Self love is kind of the through line of a lot of these topics. And this video is actually week 7 of my 12-week course that used to be $3,000 on all things self love. And that course is now for free on YouTube right now. I'm doing that for a few reasons, but mainly just to give back. And so if this video is helpful for you, if you found this beneficial at all, or any of the past videos, if you haven't watched them yet, I highly recommend it. Please share this with other people. Please subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps to get this message to more people, and it would mean the world to me. So thank you. So without further ado, let's jump into week 7. This is me from 2019. We're talking all about self-fulfilling prophecies, how to detach from the outcome, and validation seekingness. It's going to be a good one because validation seekingness, that's a really interesting word, controlled my life. And I didn't even know it. I quite literally thought that I was like very strong in who I was, and I knew myself. But when somebody told me for the first time I was validation seeking, I was like, what? And then somebody else was like, yeah, you are. And I was like, hold the phone. That was my first dose of tough love, and I was like, thank you so much. Like, I definitely loved that they were able to be upfront and honest with me in that way. And in that, I was able to really take a look and see, wow, I am validation seeking. Like, why do I care so much? So that's what we're going to get into in this video, in this video. Self-fulfilling prophecies. Also, you speak about something and then it actually happens. Yep, see, told you. That type of thing. We're going to change it to where you're creating your life and not destroying your life. And then also detaching from the outcome. I think that's a big part of validation seeking. We seek to get validation, but if you just detach from the outcome of what happens and move forward with intention, then you're fully present and you can't stay in suffering or worry or anxiety or fear because you're present with your emotions and what is and the person that you're right in front of. So you're basically just about to be a wizard of your emotions and of time, quite literally. So let's jump into it. You do have 2 pieces of homework on this one, so I'm going to try to be as concise as possible. Hopefully it all makes sense and runs together. I want to talk first about validation seeking, because that, I think, is the one that controls a lot of our decisions sometimes, where we want people to view us in a positive light. We just want their validation. We want their approval, acceptance, or permission even. And that's one that we're less aware of. So it comes from a good place. We want to be accepted. We want to be approved of. We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Again, this is all breaking it down in psychological terms of you just want to make sure you're doing right. And so when you can recognize that a lot of those desires, if you will, of being validation seeking are good intended, you can love them away. And you can actually connect with the truth, which will set you free. So first, before we even jump into validation seeking, and I break all of that down for you, if you hesitate to say yes or no, if you hesitate to honor or set boundaries, if you do something for the sake of what other people are going to think, you're validation seeking. This is also, we do this a lot unconsciously when we first meet somebody. We almost have a mask of what we think that they want from us. I did this a lot when I was making videos, believe it or not. I was always thinking that I had to be super high energy. So all of my videos when I was doing the fitness stuff were super high energy. And it was like, well, I was just doing that to get accepted and so that the message would get accepted. But I wasn't living super high energy all the freaking time. As you can probably tell from some of these videos, like, I am more of a high energy person. I'm actually going to get into that, I think that's next week, on how I have more energy and how energy is so important for anything in life. But, I was doing it in a way to get something. Who I was and how I was showing up was so that I could get something. It wasn't so that, just who I was. Even me recording this video right now, a little bit more mellow than I normally am, especially recording a video. I am animated because I'm being recorded right now, and so I want to make sure I get the point across, but I'm not being perfect. I'm not, you guys have probably noticed, not editing the videos. I'm just being real. I'm just like, yeah, this is what it is, and knowing that that's enough. Like, I'm enough.
you guys getting all these tools and the strategies and the awareness and the how-to and the what and all that type of stuff, I could have edited these videos and put some background music and put some text on the screen and like really made sure that all these things. But it's like, this is, first off, this is a course about human connection, so I just wanted it to be me and you. But also, it's like, I'm enough. I don't have to go above and beyond. I don't have to do anything for it to be approved of or accepted, because what I have to say and who I am as a person, I know for me is enough. Well, you've made it 7 weeks with me. So it's been a good thing, right? And so the interesting part about validation seeking, and when you stop validation seeking and you detach from the outcome, is when you get what you want. What? So you mean to tell me, Kevin, that when I stop like going so hardcore about what other people think about me and I just love myself, then more people will love me? Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying, because that's what happened with me. So validation seeking, pen and paper, get some notes. Hopefully you have a little bit of awareness of, yeah, okay, if I'm really honest with myself to some degree, I do certain things so that I can be approved of, I can get accepted, or I'm kind of doing things almost for permission, asking permission. So permission, approval, acceptance is how we do validation seeking. And if we're almost doing it for permission, like we're doing something so that they can give us permission to do something, or we can in a way, what we want can be agreed upon by somebody else, it's coming from your inner child. Your inner child just wants permission. And we already covered all that before, so just, all right, Kevy, I see you, and I'm going to do what's right. Because sometimes not worrying about what other people are thinking and doing what's right, that will rest on your conscience, right? Like if there's videos of people that are like, you know, an infant falls on the train tracks in like a train stop, and the train's coming, and somebody will jump in and like save the kid, and everybody else, you can see the camera's reaction, everybody retracted. It's kind of like that person was putting some heart into everything he did. That's how they lived their life, because he leaned into it. He was like, this is the right thing to do. Everybody else was like, whoa, somebody do something. I'm not going to do anything. Either that was an I'm not enough issue, or I don't want people to think I'm weird. On a subconscious, deep down level, that happened in an instant, and everybody around, that's how they reacted. That one person, in a way, he valued doing what was right, the right thing. So it's like speaking up for yourself, what's right. And when you honor and respect yourself so much, you're going to uphold that. And you're going to, because you don't need to have anybody else's approval, because you know it's right. So permission, approval just means you care about rejection. You want, and your reputation, I'm sorry, not rejection. I misread my handwriting. So you have approval, or you're looking for approval, okay, through validation seeking. And that just means you care about being rejected. Like, you don't want to be rejected. Is that a bad thing? No. But you do need to fill yourself up. All of this is harmony. It's not polar opposites, extremes. Life is not black and white. So you got to remember that. So it's just coming to the truth. Oh, I care about being accepted. Okay, but I'm not going to let it control me, because I'm going to fill myself up, which is what part of your homework is. And then also acceptance. I'm looking for them to accept me. That is a primal need. Primal need. I don't know what's going on today. I'm all over the place. But that's a primal need. We talked about that a little bit in week 2, where we talked all about like the primal instincts of your brain. Your brain wants to be accepted. We were creatures that stuck together in a culture, in a community, and that's how we lived, quite literally. We survived because we stuck together, and so that whole, like, I don't want to be excluded from the group is still so deep in us. And it's just having discernment. Am I going to die? No. It might be a little bit uncomfortable because I lose a friendship, or this person doesn't like me. Okay, cool. I do value what people like. I do care about what people think of me, but I also value of my own, how I view myself. And if I don't do the right thing, then I'm going to start to view myself negatively, and that's something that I'm not going to give up. So then you do the right thing. You set your boundaries, you fill yourself up, and you have some discernment then on when you can essentially seek for validation in a healthy way. Again, it's weird to think about validation seeking being healthy, but how could it be healthy? Because it's getting you accepted, you know? You're accepted by the tribe. Your friends love you. you care about that and certain people's opinions of you, and that's not a bad thing. But you do need to fill yourself up. And a lot of validation seeking or neediness, of needing approval, needing permission, needing acceptance, is that we're looking externally for something that we think we don't have within. And if you're, by now on week 7, I hope that you're starting to look internally, because if you think that anything outside of you is going to give you what you want, that's going to lead to a lot of pain and suffering. It's in here. So next time that you find yourself kind of doing this validation seeking thing, you have some awareness of it, because you're so self-aware, because you're going through True Love Accelerator and you already know. And then you're going to be like, oh, discernment. Okay, that's this. You catch yourself. I hope by now, again, you guys are really understanding the value of being self-aware. This whole entire course is a mirror exercise, because everything in life is a mirror. If it triggers you, and if you're starting to have awareness that you're validation seeking and things are starting to control you, like I don't know why I'm just doing this. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's validation, because you think you're going to die if you don't, on a subconscious level. So recognizing that you're not going to die, and filling yourself up with what you're looking for, what you think that person is going to give you, whether it's the permission, approval, or acceptance. Why don't you give yourself permission and give yourself approval and accept yourself? Because then you're setting yourself free. And I'm going to share with you, with your homework, actually, what you're going to do to actually make that a reality. So yeah, I wrote down here, I want you to like me, and if you don't, then I'm ruined. That's validation seeking. But what we seek in others is really what we're seeking in ourselves, because we don't think that we have it. So your homework, part of your homework, because again, there's another part of your homework is starting today, until the end of this program. We're at week 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have 5 more weeks, including this week, so maybe 6 more weeks. You're halfway through the program, and now you're going to start filling yourself up. The first half of the program was all about healing, cleaning, clearing, doing all that type of stuff. And now that we've pulled the weeds out of the garden, you're starting to plant what you want, because you have a clean slate, you have a blank canvas. So now it is super important to start validating yourself, to start approving of yourself, and to give yourself permission for what you want, instead of looking for it in external sources. So you're going to do these 3 things. All of this is typed out below. Every single day, every day, no matter what, you're going to do this. I highly recommend it in the morning, and this doesn't even take but 2 minutes, because I do this every morning. You're getting exactly what I do to validate myself, and where I don't need anybody else's approval or acceptance. I would consciously choose their approval and acceptance with some discernment because of harmony, and it's not black and white. But I'm so strong and rooted in who I am because I do this, and I'm really excited for you guys to be doing this. 3 things, and each thing you're gonna say out loud in the mirror to yourself. 3 things that you're proud of yourself for, 3 things that you love yourself for, and 3 things you forgive yourself for. So it's gonna sound like this. I'm gonna look at myself in the eyes first thing in the morning and say, Kevin, I'm proud of you for 1, 2, 3. I love you for 1, 2, 3. I forgive you for 1, 2, 3. And the reason we're doing forgive is because sometimes there's these little itty bitty things. I forgive you for, ignoring yourself the other day when you really needed to take a break. You just kept pushing. I'm sorry. Or I'm sorry for beating you up this morning. Like, you got up and a few minutes, you hit snooze and you told yourself you weren't going to do it. I forgive you. It's okay. Like, being easy on yourself. And noting that also self-discipline matters here too. So that toughness, hardness, just do it. It does matter. And self-discipline is the highest form of self-love, because you're loving yourself so much that you're going to do this thing no matter what. But polar opposite extremes, you gotta be kind to yourself and have some discernment. I know that's really confusing, because those are 2 polar opposites, but when they act in harmony, when you're able to say, you know what, I could push through right now, but I value my health or my sanity or my whatever it is, I value X more. And so it's keeping your values in check. Do you value yourself and your well-being? Because if you do that, then you'll have discernment on when you can just do it. Right? I can just do it, I can just do it, I can just do it, but not to the point of sacrificing yourself or your health, whether that's mental, physical, spiritual. So I kind of took a tangent on there to just really help you understand like why we're doing this. Forgiveness. I love you for filling yourself up. I'm proud of you for walking with a little bit, your chest up a little bit more pride. It's healthy. So 3 things every morning. Each thing has 3 things. I'm proud of you for, I'm proud of you for, I'm proud of you for. I love you for, I love you for, I love you for, I forgive you for, I forgive you for, I forgive you for. And you just say it out loud in the mirror. And if you live with somebody else, they're going to start to think you're crazy. Then all of a sudden they're going to start to notice, oh wait, they're acting different. And then they're going to start doing it too. That's by leading by example. And if you have kids, this is huge because they're going to see it. Kids don't, parenting 101, they don't do what they're told. They do what they're modeling. Kids model. So there is something to be said about your words, but they're going to pick up on what you're doing and how you're living so much more. So that's why it's really important to walk the talk. So you're going to talk. And going back to self-fulfilling prophecies, which was part 1 of this video, is the power of intention. Again, we've covered all the stuff. If you're beating yourself up, it's going to keep happening. But if you start feeding yourself with your words, that stuff's going to happen more. So if you always are thinking the worst case scenario, it's always going to fucking happen. I know it because I lived it for 5 years. But if you start to believe what if and start to believe the what if of the positives, surprisingly, that stuff will happen. Now, why? Without sounding woo-woo and too spiritual with the law of attraction, why would that actually happen? Because your brain is focusing on what it wants, and you will act in accordance of that. Your mind's eye will start to see opportunities instead of struggle. It literally opens your mind when you're starting to look for what you want. You'll be aware for opportunities. You'll be a little bit more energetic because you're focusing on something that's positive. And it'll expand you instead of shrink you. You'll have a heightened awareness. That's why that's important. And the mirror, self-love mirror exercise is what's going to do that. So again, you're doing this so that you stop seeking validation outside of yourself because you're going to fill yourself up with what you're looking for externally. That's what's happening with your homework number 1. All right, switching gears, detaching from the outcome. Because I do care about my reputation, Kevin. I do care about what people think. That's healthy. But if it controls you, it's not. So how do you, in a healthy way, care about what people think, but still control yourself and not give power over to that? Well, that's detaching from the outcome, which is weird. It's a weird thing because you set a goal, you set an intention, which is a little bit different than a goal, and an outcome that you want to happen. And then a lot of people focus on the outcome and focus on the outcome and focus on the outcome. I want this outcome. I want this. 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 And that creates lag and lack. Is coming from a scarcity mindset then, because you're saying, I want that thing. It says that you don't have it. Instead of saying, I want more of that thing. Or that's where I would like to go. And then it's a different energy, right? I want a relationship is saying that you're equating a relationship to love, and you're saying to yourself subconsciously that I don't have love. When, okay, my intention is to get a relationship, and so I'm just going to work on me. How do I need to show up? And focusing on being in the present will detach from the outcome. Okay, cool, that's going to happen, but I'm detached from the outcome either way. I know that I'm going to learn. Either way, I know I'm going to grow. And that's the universe's will for me. But hey, I'm going to focus on being present and my highest integrated self right now, moving forward with integrity and intention. So what it takes for this dynamic shift to happen. In week 5, we talked about your inner critic. And we named your inner critic. In week 6, we talked about your inner child. And we named your inner child. In week 7, this week, we're talking about your inner sage. That is like the ancient wisdom side of you. That's your higher self that's going, let's put some wisdom in here. That sage side of you is that higher self that is a little bit more discerning, that is of higher wisdom of like, oh yeah, I don't know why this needs to happen. This it's like your grandpa, right? For yourself. And you have to name your sage. I want you to name your sage. My sage's name is Mr. Crenshaw. So there's just that. Oh, this is all right, Mr. Crenshaw. What are we gonna do? That's kind of like authority. What am I gonna do? And I'm talking to myself. How am I gonna approach this? And let me tell you, Mr. Crenshaw doesn't give a fuck about what happens on the external world because he's so filled and he knows that he's the one that's in control of himself and he's not looking to control anything external. He's going to have intention, but he's present as fuck. That's the energy of your sage. You already have it, but you just need to name it so you can recognize your sage and when to call your sage up and call your sage forth for things that are happening in life. If you start to notice that you're being attached to an outcome, that you are being validation seeking to the point of it controlling your life, then you can name your sage. Okay, Mr. Crenshaw, do you need this thing? I would like for it to happen, so I'm going to move forward with intention on that, but do I need it? No, because I don't need anything. I don't need anything. That's why people fast. Spiritually, people fast so that they can say to themselves, I'm in control of my body. Nothing's in control of me. I don't need for anything. People obviously take that to the extreme because there are quite literally human needs, but there is something to be said of, I don't need anything external because I got it all right here. And it really is important in order to do that. Now, how do you detach from the outcome fully and not let that control you? It's being present. So that's the actions, being present with the actions towards that goal. So I want this thing to happen. And then we just focus on, I want it to happen, 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 I want it to happen. And we're not doing anything to walk forwards towards it. It's important to take action. So cool, I want this to happen. Now, what do I have to do? Who do I have to be in order for that to happen? Right? I want outcome. What do I have to do? And then who do I have to be? That's reverse engineering goals 101. You just got it from your boy right now. All right? Goal. What do I have to do? Because actions do matter. You do have to act towards it. Who do I have to be? What's the type of person that's going to deliver these outcomes and actually at the capacity to get this result? Who's, that they're going to take these actions. This quality in me is going to take these actions, and then that's just automatically going to get the result. And it is a little bit of trust and faith and surrender. So you do have to kind of let go from the outcome and trust that that's going to work itself out. You know what? I'm going to focus right here, right now on this one action, whether that's a conversation you're having with somebody, whether that's being present right now on this course, whether that's a conversation you're having with your partner or a lover, somebody that you're interested in. It's being present with them and their energy. And sure, you can think about the outcome, but you don't constantly want to think about the outcome because then that's trying to control it. It's, yeah, sure, you have an intention and you can move forward with that, but I'm going to be focused right now on the present. And what's interesting is presence removes time. When you're fully present, think about it. When you are just in the flow, you're doing something you love, or you're watching a movie and you're really into it, or you know what I'm talking about. You're present. It could be when you're having sex. I don't know. When you're really fucking present, there's almost no sense of time. Time disappears. Have you ever just been like, whoa, how long was that? That was 3 hours? Jesus, I didn't even recognize because you were present and you weren't focused on the past. You weren't focused on even your outcome. You were probably moving forward with that intention, but you were fully present with all of your senses and with what was right in front of you, whether that's a task or a person. Again, yes, it is important to have the outcome in mind, but that shouldn't control you. It's like, cool, this. All right, I know I have to walk 3 steps to go to that outcome, so I'm just going to be present in 1, 2, 3. Oh, hey, I made it! Guys, it's that simple. And detaching from the outcome also means we detach from the wrapping. It's kind of like Christmas. And if you were to be like, okay, I want this Lego set and I want it to be wrapped in golden wrapping paper. And then it was the Lego set the exact thing that you wanted, but but you didn't verbally say, I want it wrapped in gold wrapping paper. That's just kind of what you envisioned in your head. Gold wrapping paper. Oh my God, that's going to give me that Lego set. And you go and it's Christmas and you're opening up your presents. The one with the golden wrapping paper wasn't the Lego set that you wanted. And you get pissed off. You're like, I wanted my Lego set. I asked for it in gold wrapping paper. What the fuck? And then it's in a different package, wrapped in silver wrapping paper. You still got what you wanted, just not in the wrapping. Now, how does that happen in life? I want this relationship. Well, okay, it's underneath it. It's underneath the wrapping paper. What do you think that relationship with that specific person is going to give you? Because that's really what you're after. And maybe it's not wrapped in their face and that person. Maybe it's somebody else. But we get so caught up in the expectation of, no, but this is how I want it to happen. This is how I want it to happen. I need it to happen like this. And we're trying to control our external world. And the more we're present with just the process and trust that life is happening for us and trust that our outcomes will be met if I'm fully present and able to do it. Think about a workout, right? Like if you're thinking about the entire time you're working out, oh my God, I got to get this weight off. Oh my God, I got to get this weight off. Oh my God, I got to get this weight off. You're not even present with your form and you might get hurt. You're not even present with like what you're doing. You're probably not even giving that much intensity into it. The same is true in a relationship. I want this to happen. I want this to happen. I want this to happen. You're not even present with the person and what they're saying. You're not able to hear them. You're not able to listen because you're not present because you're just focused on your own agenda. We hate people like this, yet we do it all the time. So it is about being fully present. That means your senses, the feeling, your own emotions. We already kind of covered that a lot in this course, right? Moving forward in that. So without time, so presence removes time. And then without time, no suffering or negativity can survive. Because suffering is focusing on external. The reason why people do gratitude, and I actually didn't put gratitude in here for a reason, because it's kind of overused and I think people just skim over it. It is important to be grateful. And I think that comes as a natural effect of being self-loving and loving yourself, because then you'll see through the eyes of that and you'll love and appreciate other things that are happening in your life. It is really important to be grateful, but the reason why gratitude kind of kicked off and it's kind of mainstream right now is because when you do it right and you feel grateful, you're present. The times when you're fully in love with life, you're present. The first kiss, you're present when you're enjoying it, right? You're always present when and time goes away in that beautiful presence. And guess what? The present is always happening. So if you want to bend time, if you want time not to be a factor, it's fully being present with what you're doing, moving forward with intention, sure, but it's not controlling you. You're just kind of go, okay, I'm going to move in that direction. And it's letting go of expectations of this is what needs to happen because I did this outcome. Okay, I'm going to show up as this, and I'm going to be present with what's being asked of me. And, disappointments, all these other things, cool, that's a factor of life. I'm not saying that you can avoid that, but, okay, I'm just going to control me, which is me being present. I did this quite literally by letting go. So you're letting go of control. You're letting go of being right. That's what being present is. I'm letting go of control of the outcome so I can claim control of myself. I'm letting go of my moral righteousness so I can be present with what is true, aka right. Also, it's changing perspectives. Maybe, I am wrong. That's a sign of somebody who's growth-oriented, by the way, is maybe I am wrong. But knowing yourself, again, I'm talking a lot of polarities. Hopefully this is making sense. It's letting go of the expectations and letting go of what's going to happen. Your sage allows you to do that. Your inner child and a lot of other sides of you, almost every other version of you is so attached to the outcome. Because it wants something real. It wants something tangible. But your sage is kind of like your spirit. It's just kind of like, You can take it or leave it. I'm good. I'm chilling over here because I'm fucking awesome. It's also king energy and queen energy that we're going to get into with royalty later on in the program. So there is a side of that here, but your sage is just kind of like, I don't need anything. I'm good. Like, think about your grandparents, right? They're just kind of good. They've lived their life. They've done the things. They've chased the freaking car. They've, they've chased the things, the car, the money, the relationship, and then they get to what really matters. That's the sage energy. Stop chasing things, because then it's controlling you. You can move forward with intention towards something really freaking fast by being extremely present with every single action that's going to allow you to get there. But that's not chasing it. Chasing it is a little bit different. Energetic wise, it's like coming out of lack. Right? So you're looking to fill yourself up. That's what we're doing with the validation seeking homework, which you're going to do every single day, by the way, for the next 6 weeks. That's going to change your life in and of itself. I guarantee it. You're going to fill yourself up every single morning. Maybe even write the framework out on the mirror in your bathroom. Write it out, or write it on a sticky note and put it on your freaking driver's steering wheel so you can see it every morning. Put this in the forefront of your mind, and actually so that you don't forget. Like, hold yourself accountable by doing something where it's putting it in your focus. Right? Just have fun with that. But letting go. I let go in kind of an extreme way. I literally sold everything that I owned. I packed one single suitcase and just traveled the world. I let go of like material things. You want to know something interesting? At the time of me recording these videos, I really don't have, I still kind of live a nomadic lifestyle. I don't have a lot of things because I don't need them to be happy. I've kind of cut that out and chased that, I've chased that rabbit. It doesn't lead me anywhere. Do I have things? Do I like things? Yeah. And as we are going to talk about later, there's some discernment in that, and you can have your royalty come in and be like, yeah, I'm going to get that because I'm worth it. But I'm not out there like looking to fill up a void. Huge difference. Intention matters. Motive and intention is everything. What's your intention for your goals? Is that because you think it's going to give you something you don't have? What's your intention for things? It really matters. So, I sold everything I owned, traveled the world, and I proved to myself, I had an experience where I was like, all right, I don't need things. And that was just going to an extreme. By the way, I want to talk about boundaries here because that's something to be talked about. Letting go of expectations and all these other things. Kevin, well, what about setting boundaries? Because, I need to set boundaries because people walk all over me. Well, I could spend an hour talking about how to effectively set boundaries. But that's not going to serve you if you don't respect and love yourself enough to respect and honor your boundaries that you're setting. It all boils down to filling yourself up with self-love. So when you have self-love and you really value who you are as a person, and that energy then sets the boundary, you'll respect the boundary. But if you're, setting boundaries and you still don't really have that self-filledness and self-love, then people are going to overstep you because you are still looking for their validation. So a lot of this, what boundaries you need to set. You know where you need to draw a line in the sand and put a stake in the hole. Just be like, I'm done. No, this is it. Boundaries. But you are going to respect them once you start respecting yourself, which is where all this is coming from. And letting go of what other people think. Still caring what people think. Interesting. Weird, right? Discernment matters here. So that's where your wisdom and your sage comes into play. Mr. Crenshaw, do you really care about what they think? Yeah, but if somebody's not going to value my boundary in that way and see my perspective on things, are they really somebody who you should be spending time with? No. Is that sad? Yeah. Is it disappointing? Yeah. Am I going to spend all night crying about it? Nope. Because I know I know what I'm worth. Does this make sense? Hopefully it does. I'm kind of all over the place today, and I feel like I'm all over the place. I think I'm making sense, but I'm just so present with what's showing up right now, and I'm just going to that's just coming out of my mouth. That's what's happening. So you have your other piece of homework. List out 5 ways in which you're controlling things or trying to be right with people in your life. Extreme radical honesty with yourself. Where am I actually trying to control the outcome here? And should I be? 5 different instances with 5 different people where you're trying to control them, you're trying to control an outcome, or you're setting an expectation on something. And yes, that could even be a relationship. When we fully let go, we can be present with and then create that reality we want. But are you trying to make somebody, like change somebody else so that they can fit into what you think is right? Are you trying to change somebody else so that they can meet your own needs? Because we can't change anything outside of us. It just happens. Everything outside of us just happens. You get to align with what is most going to help you and in still respecting yourself. Different thought. So list out 5 ways that you're controlling or trying to be right with people in your life. And then with each one of those that you're listing out, apologize through changed behavior. You can verbally say it if you really do, like deep down, oh my gosh, like I didn't even have awareness I was doing this. I need to say I'm sorry. Like I just had awareness. I didn't even recognize this was happening. I'm sorry that I was trying to control the outcome here. Like forgive me, and I'm going to change my behavior. Because listen, an apology without changed behavior is manipulation. You need to actually change your behavior and let go of the outcome and fully be present. So you're just going to be present with your senses and be present with what's happening and trust. And is that scary? Fuck yeah, it is. But that's the adrenaline of life. So you give control away and give it to yourself. You give trust so that you can, I don't know, maybe see if you can trust the person. Because if you're always trying to control things, you're not letting them be themselves. Well, what if I just trusted you for a second? Let me see what happens. And nobody can hurt me but me, so all right, let's see what happens. Let me give you the trust. That's the energy we're going for, Kevin, but that's not who I am. Back to week 1. I am, put you in a box. I am becoming. If you are becoming more trusting, if you're becoming more loving, which is trust, if you're becoming all of those things, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but that's what you putting some heart into it's all about. So it's letting go of control, giving into trust. Apologize, or just apologize through changed behavior. You don't even have to say anything, just change your behavior. 5 different people in your life. Relationships. This could be business, it could be personal, it could be friends, it could be an intimate partner, it could be your parents and your family, whatever it is, okay? And then also make sure that you are writing down the 3 things I'm proud of, 3 things I love about myself, 3 things I forgive myself for. You're writing down that. You're not writing down your answers. Again, the reason why you're not writing down and journaling your answers is you're using your brain to try to trick your brain. You're vocally saying it, which is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you're quite literally proving to yourself by having an experience of saying it to shift your way of being. It's magical. Do that. Do not, and I repeat, do not journal it out loud. You need to speak this out. Journaling is just trying to trick your psychology. That's what everybody is getting wrong. Journaling, is there something to say about it? Yes, we did a lot of journaling earlier in the program. But now it's time to up level and go towards something even more that's going to be even more potent and powerful in changing and shifting your way of being into being more loving and to being more trusting, into taking control of yourself and honoring, respecting yourself so much and loving the fuck out of yourself, which is speaking it, using your voice, quite literally speaking up for yourself. Because when you're speaking to yourself every day, you're going to be able to speak up for yourself and you're going to actually have a voice and use it. So if you're the one that usually shrinks away and you're like, okay, I'm going to journal and I'm going to be in my head, there's something there. If it makes you uncomfortable to speak it out loud and you'd rather journal, awareness, don't avoid, actually speak it out. And what's 42 days of that is going to change your life. Quite literally. That alone will change your life. Especially since with all the forgiveness stuff that we've done before, getting hot in here because you guys are like, you're doing it. And then you're going to list out the 5 ways that you are like actually trying to control things. You have expectations, and you have to be honest with yourself. Don't use "I don't know" as an out. Be real. If you were to know, and if you think you've done them all, and spend about 10 minutes. And if in 10 minutes you still haven't come up with anything, then great. But really try to seek answers here. Because maybe, I don't know, or no, it's just this one person. Could be you trying to be right. And because it does kind of take a blow to your ego to do this stuff, and it is humbling. So put some heart into it and come at this with your heart and let go of being right, let go of external control here. Use your sage energy, tap into that. Use your name, your sage's name. Call forth your sage when you're doing this homework. List out the 5 ways which you're controlling or trying to be right with people in your life, and then you're going to change the behavior. You can actually like say it, but at least list the behavior that you're changing. So type out, write out what you're going to commit yourself to. And they don't even need to know this. This is not about them. This is everything to do with you. And it could just be an instance too. Somebody does something and this is usually what my reaction is. I'm going to instead do this. Could be an option. I'm just giving you guys, perspectives here. And is it scary? Yup. If you want to do something crazy like me and selling all your possessions and traveling the world, to giving in to trust. I didn't even have a plan, by the way. I just bought a one-way ticket everywhere I went. Oh my God, Kevin, that takes such guts. No, I knew who I was and I knew I wasn't going to die. Partially because I had been homeless and sleeping on the street before, so I knew it wasn't going to I was going to be fine if that were the worst case scenario. And guess what? That never happened. But it was a fun experience versus like some, oh my God, grasping for certainty outside of myself. Be certain in who I am. So if you do want a crazy experience like that, I would recommend that you go cliff jumping or skydiving sometime in the next 7 days. That is part of your homework if you do want to do it. That is very extreme, but it'll give you an experience of trust. I'm just going to fall. And trust that I'll be okay. That is insane trust. And once you have that level of trust within yourself, and know the positive experience afterwards of like, I didn't die, and that was a wild ride. That's called life and living life. The only way death is going to be scary to you is if you haven't been living your life. So you quite literally need to live a little bit. Do something crazy. Could be cliff jumping, could be skydiving. Obviously do it in a safe environment. Don't go cliff jumping and jump off somewhere just because you think that, oh yeah, this is an exercise Kevin's doing. No. Go cliff jumping where people actually go cliff jumping, so you know you're gonna be okay. You get what I'm talking about. Be safe, but you're gonna do it so that you can have an experience with trust and letting go of certainty. Cool. I think there's indoor skydiving places. There's you could actually go skydiving if you want that experience, and if it's on your bucket list. Well, hey, guess what? Here's your challenge to do it. Live a life a little bit. I don't know. We're going to go deep on this video, but we've been doing that this whole freaking time, so you're used to it. We're talking about your body image in this video, and this is something that I added into the course, as you can tell, later on, because it took me a while to actually accept my body. I'll share a little bit of my story with that here in a bit. This video is really going to help you, whether if you have a poor body image issues and you need to work through accepting your body, this is going to be really helpful. If maybe you love yourself, you love your body, you've kind of worked on that stuff before, this is going to help dig even deeper so you come to a place where you love yourself and all of it, and there's not like, yeah, I'd fix this but I love the rest. Like, that's gonna go away too. So this is full on accepting all of yourself. We've done a lot of work on this course so far on acceptance, on self-love, and I just thought it makes sense to add into this course a part about your body, because hey, guess what? Your body's a part of you, so duh. Anyway, I got my notes per usual, and I'm going to be looking at them a lot because there's lots of arrows and things. It doesn't flow. It's more of an art piece right now, so let's make sure that I get everything. Like I talked about, this is a deep level of acceptance that we're coming to, so the end result here is to begin and start the relationship with your body. Because a lot of people, we've either neglected our bodies or we obsess about it, and it becomes a form of self-punishment, self-hatred, and we push into the gym or whatever it is, or eating disorders and things like that. And just like you're reclaiming your inner child recently, and you're coming to starting that relationship with yourself in so many areas, this is also starting the relationship with your body. You are not your body, and it's important to distinguish this. You're not your emotions, you're not your thoughts, and you're not your body. You're a soul. So if you can know that you're not your thoughts, then you can take ownership for what we talked about in the first video of week 7, which is your language and speaking things into existence, right? Then also, you're not your emotions. Emotions come and go. They only last 90 seconds in your nervous system, and then it's gone. So that's huge, because if you're feeling sad or down or depressed in a negative state, you can shift to a positive one because you know it's a season, and you disassociate from I am sad to I am feeling sad. 2 different things, because you don't identify with it, right? Kind of preaching to the choir here. You guys are already gotten some of that stuff. But when it comes to your body, I am fat versus I have fat. For example, right? When you can distance your identity from your body, it's huge, which is so hard because you think about, and you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, that's me. But it's your body, because you're a lot deeper than that, and you're a soul. So when you can recognize that important distinction, it gives you the perspective shift needed to go in and do a lot of the work that we're going to do in this video to start that relationship. So for me, it was like I was getting a bunch of validation from my body because I was a bodybuilder, and I, had fucking shredded and was like perfect proportionate and all these things. And so that was like the most impressive part about me, sadly. And it was like I was hot and I was like looking great, but that's it. And I was a wreck inside. And so I know other people can go to the opposite end, right? And in terms of seeking validation, they do it other ways and they neglect their body. So no matter where you're at, you've got to recognize that important distinction and separation, so that the past is brought you to where you're at today, but now we're taking ownership through this course and through doing all this work. You're taking radical ownership, and so you get to create the future going forward. Now, I've talked a little bit about like sad and fat and all these quote unquote negative things, and we've done some work in this course already about your perspective, mainly week 2, but I want to shine light on this again, that you can't go from hate to love. You can't say I hate my body to I love my body, because that's like speaking affirmations in the mirror and trying to speak lies into yourself till you believe it. It doesn't work, right? So again, the perspective shift needed is to go from a negative to a neutral to a positive. And the irony in that is that once you go from that negative to the neutral, and you go from the neutral to the positive, it doesn't feel like a positive because you've transcended the black and white belief of right and wrong or good and bad. You get to this place of it just is, and I'm going to move forward towards that because it's what I want. So it becomes this positive thing, but you're not viewing it as positive when you make that transition and shift, because you've stuck in the neutral so long that you recognize that everything is love, and every decision, good or bad, has a positive intention and a positive outcome always, at the end of the day, for everything. And so when you're moving in a positive direction, you're actually loving your body more of the time, and that's the goal here. So again, from hate or dislike, wherever you're at with this relationship with your body right now, to more of a neutral place of just acceptance, which is the goal of this video specifically. And then gradually over time, as you build that relationship, you get it to a place where you're positive. And over the rest of this course, I'm going to be adding other videos too. So we're going to talk about, intuitive eating and activating your intuition. We're going to talk about like sex and the erotic. We're going to compound and build on this series of body acceptance. But we're going to start here right now with just accepting your body for how it is, because that's the foundation. Acceptance, non-judgmental awareness, you can build on for love. All kind of speaking the same thing, using different analogies and words. Hopefully it's landing. Anyway, let's move on to the next point. So what do you not like about your body? If you're honest with yourself, like if you're actually really honest with yourself, pause me and just write a list. Or you can not pause me and just jot it down while we're going. But like, what do you not like? What do you wish you had? Smaller, bigger, different shape, different hair, different skin, different what? Write it all down, like everything that you can think of, and what are all the judgments? What are all the things that you're beating yourself up about, quite honestly, and not accepting with this gift that you've been given called a human flesh suit, your body, that helps you live. Just want to bring awareness to that. And so some of the things are genetic and we can't control. Some of them are life choices that we can. And it's important, again, to just carry yourself with compassion through all of this stuff of if you have made poor life choices, either destructive in a positive or negative way, right? Like destructive for fitness, when you're going all in, manically working out and manically controlling your nutrition, or just complete avoidance with it all. It's time to take ownership, and that's cool. And it's that season comes to an end. Now it's a decision, right? So that list that you wrote down, do you want a smaller stomach, a flatter stomach, different shaped hips? Do you want longer legs, a different face, bigger boobs, a bigger dick, smaller boobs, a bigger butt, like different skin, different color skin, different tone in your skin? You want your freckles to go away. You wish your jawline was different. Whatever it is, all of these things that you just wrote down and some of the stuff that I talked about is all coming from this not enoughness. And you have to really recognize that. Because there's this thing out there in society that's literally feeding on this consumer-based keeping you in a not enough space. You know, you're not sexy enough, so buy this bra. You're not confident enough, so you need to wear this cologne. You're not whatever enough, so you need to get this makeup. You're not. It's going on all of that, and so we're bombarded with all of these not enoughness. Buy this thing so that you can finally be enough. And it's funny that it just creates more of the same. So when will enough be enough? You know, and you can kind of see this with people that manically chase those things. I did with fitness, but some people do it with plastic surgery. Some people do it with makeup, right? And there's nothing bad with any of those things, right? Fitness isn't bad. Plastic surgery isn't bad. Makeup isn't bad. But it's the unhealthy level of that goes above and beyond that comes from this gap of not enough. And the bigger that gap is, the more stuff you're going to need to fill it, and it just becomes a perpetuating cycle. And you got to stop waiting until. You got to stop waiting until you get toned, until you look a certain way, until you whatever to feel enough. You guys already know this, and we've worked on this a lot in this course, but you just got to accept it for what it is and where you're at. And here's the interesting part. We want all of these things with looks in our body inherently to be sexier. So it's more confident in how we're showing up and more attractive for a partner. That's mainly what we have used our body for, which is very interesting to think about, right? Because your body does a lot more than that. Your body helps you to live a human experience. Your body helps you to eat. Your body helps you to dance. Your body helps you to laugh. Your body helps you to process your emotions. Your body helps you take you on these amazing experiences and see all these places. Your body helps you do so much more than just be sexy. But again, that's what's sold to us. And the interesting thing is that your body itself isn't necessarily sexy. Confidence is. And there is something to be said, right? Some people are just inherently gifted and that's a beautiful human being, right? But what's more beautiful than that is confidence. And that's what we're really looking for, is people owning themselves and owning their truth. That's more beautiful than just a beautiful body, right? Because if you're just pretty and that's all you are, then you're kind of shallow. But for some reason we glorify that because it's sold to us. So again, we're going for confidence here, which comes from ownership and like loving yourself, all of it, and the body that you've been given. So I want to share my story on this real quick. So hopefully it shines some light on things. I was 100 pounds skin and bones growing up, and then I found fitness and got shredded as fuck. And I got all this attention for it, and then I became a group fitness instructor and pushed my like workouts. And so I was super disciplined, and I got rewarded for being disciplined, both in my how I looked physically, but also from the attention that I got. And it was like the more ripped, the bigger muscles that I had, the more attention I was getting. And so it fed this story of not enough, in a way, right? And so I was chasing this, and I went into crazy caffeine addictions. And in 2019, I let go of my fitness entirely, the whole year. It was kind of a crazy year for me. And so very recently, up until recording this video, I've rebuilt that relationship with my body in a healthy root, with a healthy soil. The intention behind my workouts now is I work out because I love myself. I move my body because it's fun. I push myself because it's fun to see what my body can do. Not, I gotta push myself and give everything that I have so I can finally be enough, and you gotta beat the weight off, and you have to work out at this time, and you have to eat this meal, and you can't cheat, and all these like super crazy rules that I was putting on myself before were coming out of self-hatred, but it was masked as discipline, and it was rewarded. And you know, I haven't weighed myself in like a year and a half, and I don't care to, because that's just a number. I gauge my results in terms of my body based on how I feel, my energy, my joints, my level of strength, how solid am I in my body, right? Does it hurt when I walk? Because I had a huge injury with my hips before. No? Great. Means I'm doing good. Awesome. And ironically, when you go for happiness, you start looking sexier. Like, you literally become leaner, and there's a lot of science behind that, but you don't have as much cortisol and stress going through your bloodstream, so your body is less inflamed, and you can lose body fat and a bunch of stuff. Simply put, focus on being happy. Focus on feeling good, and the looks will come, but you have to dissociate from that. Also, you know, playing around and just having fun. You did your inner child day, you're building that relationship. Translate that into fitness. You know, if you need to take a break day, cool. If you need to modify a move, do it. Doesn't mean you're not enough for modifying. It just means it's where you're at. If you want to push yourself because it's fun. Don't push yourself because of some like frustration towards you. You could, you know, push yourself for a frustration towards something external, but make sure that you're processing it in a healthy way. We're going to talk more about nutrition in week 9, so I'm going to save all that for then. But for now, I will say, just to keep it simple, there's no secret. That's the secret. With health and fitness, there's no secret. We know what to do. It's pretty simple. We just overcomplicate things. So you get to have fun with it. What if it was easy? But again, it comes from this place, and I'm talking about health and fitness right now, because this does play a role into your physical body, right? And if you need to work out, you know it. So find a way to make it fun. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's not going to the gym and lifting weights and doing cardio, right? If you're manically doing all that stuff, just check your intentions. And when you shift to going, you know what, I just want to have fun, and I'm not going to place my value on what I look like. I'm going to place my value on who I am as a person. That's the true sexiness of it all, right? Because you rest your confidence on your character, not your body. That's always changing, by the way. This is where non-judgmental awareness comes into play, right? And stuff with compassion. You have to love yourself in the relapse, right? Of, oh my God, I did all this work and now I binged, and oh my God, I did all this work and I hated myself for 30 seconds. You're always going to relapse. There's always seasons. It's part of life. How you handle yourself in that not enoughness is going to determine how fast you get out of it. And so when you relapse or you binge or whatever, some people can let themselves have fun and cool, that was a cheat meal, that was fun, and then I'm going to move on. Some people really carry a lot of shame and guilt for enjoying themselves and enjoying food. I know I did for a really long time. So see it as that. It's one meal of your entire life, and think about how much you're going to eat in your life, you know? There's an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you're on point, 20% of the time you can be a little bit relaxed with it. Enjoy life. You don't want to be that guy or that girl that's like just being so rigid and with the nutrition that you're not having fun with people, you know? So just don't let it take over is what I'm saying. You don't want to obsess and you don't want to neglect. Come to a place of acceptance, and I'm gonna give you some homework to do here to where you can really get in that space. But it took me almost a decade to get there, which is why I'm just now making this video. Again, I haven't weighed myself, so if you are, ditch your scale. That's your first part of homework. Ditch your scale. Stop weighing yourself. It's literally a number, and it's driving people crazy. What did they do before we had scales? Oh, they accepted their bodies more. That's right. I forgot. Why did we start getting scales? Because they were sold to us. So ditch the scale. Focus on how you feel in your body. And we're going to get to what you feel and think about with looking at your body in a second, because that's also very important. But how do you feel in your body physically? If you start getting hungry, eat some carbs. That's also been sold to us that they're bad. They're part of normal human function and you need them. Same thing with fats, right? And again, we're going to get into intuitive eating in week 9, so I'm not going to talk too much on it, but keep it simple. Focus on how you feel. And same thing with workouts. Don't push yourself until you're crippled. Like, work out to feel good. How can you feel good right now? And start experimenting, start exploring. If you've never worked out before, just the first place to start is to start. You're building a relationship with your body, and that's the important part. I want you to build this relationship with your body, not with the gym, not with your diet, not with weights, with your body. And that's going to be the important part of this, because then you're building a relationship with self that's so deep that nobody can really take that from you. You know, I'm filming this video right now in maybe the middle, the end, I don't know, of the pandemic of 2020, and the gyms are still closed. I'm the most fit I've been all year, because that relationship is with me. Just because I don't have the gym doesn't mean I can't work out and love myself, you know? So, it's fun times, but I hope that helps as well. Have fun, talked about that. Rock what you got. That's confidence right there. That's sexiness, you know? Seeing somebody wear something that, you know, maybe is heavier, but they're owning it and they're rocking it, that's sexy. We all know it. But for some reason we think we have to look a certain way in order to be sexy. So just rock what you've got now, and that'll neutralize things, and then you'll get to a body positive space, and you'll actually start to look in that positive goal that you had. Speaking of goals, while this comes up, thank you for that one. If you're making body goals for somebody else, meaning, you know, you saw this Instagram model and, oh my God, their body goals, I want to look like that. I saw that all the time when I was in fitness stuff. And it's impossible, because that's their body and their bone structure and their genetics, not yours. You want to be the best you that you can be. So literally drop the comparison from what other people look like, and really focus on you. You know, if you are on a fitness journey, take pictures, not writing down how much you weigh, but take pictures or a video every month. That's going to help you to see the changes and to see how your body's changing. But in terms of goals, it could be to fit in a whatever size pair of pants. It could be to wear that dress again and feel good about yourself. Like, start wearing clothes that make you feel good. And that's body positivity right there. So that's really important. But kind of moving on to the next bit that I want to talk about is, and this is so important, how you think about your body. I talked a little bit in the earlier stages of this video about, like, disassociating yourself from it, right? It's your vehicle. You're a soul. It's not you, which that's going to help. It's a good thing. But we still reframe and go, I wish I had a different nose. I wish I had a different ass. I wish I whatever. I wish I looked a certain way. we've raised your awareness a shitload in this course so far, and I want to help you raise it again and be aware of how you're speaking to yourself about your body. Maybe even this topic is very uncomfortable for you, and that says a lot too. Of that list that we wrote down earlier, what are the things that you want or you don't like, you wish you had, type of a thing. And we talked about in the first video on this week about the power of your words. Now, I want to preface that here too. A lot of people avoid looking at themselves in the mirror. And that's why mirror work was so uncomfortable for so many people. And you get out of the shower, you don't look at yourself, you just get dressed as fast as possible, and you're just out the door. And we almost avoid just looking at that reflection. And so doing something like taking pictures is massively uncomfortable for us because we just are uncomfortable with how we look. And so if you're able to get comfortable with how you look and not worry about what other people think about you because you accept you, boom, confidence, that's sexy. So you want to reframe everything in the thoughts that you're having towards yourself and your body. It's not judging it, it's having compassion and saying, this is where we're at. Okay. I still love me, and I still thank you, body, for this amazing vehicle to go through life and this expression. I'm going to be kinder to you now. Whether that's pulling back on your manicness with how you look or actually paying more attention to it, I'm going to be here for you now. It's the same thing we did with your inner child. And so you want to reframe the thoughts that you're having. So since we're starting a relationship, I could give you homework and say, over the next 7 days, do this, which you will get in this course. But for this specifically, start becoming aware of the thoughts that you have when you look at the mirror. Oh man, like I wish I had, tighter waist, or, oh, I'm so fat. Like any of the thoughts that you're having, be aware of them. It's all it is. And would you talk to somebody else like that? Probably not. And so that, when you start hating yourself, when you see the negatives and you're beating yourself up, is the opportunity to change the narrative and change the story and start focusing on the good and neutralize it. So change the story from the negative of I hate this about myself to this is where we're at, and focus maybe on something positive about yourself that you do like, and the more that you can just see the good and being a little bit optimistic about your looks will help you. Because if you're stacking negatives, which means you're just looking at all the bad things, you're going to think so poorly of yourself. But if you're stacking and thinking all of the good, and this is good, and this is good, and this is good about yourself, you'll feel better about you, right? So the language that you're giving and how you're speaking to yourself about your body, drop the judgments, non-judgmental awareness, and return your focus back to how you feel emotionally and in your body, not what you look like. Keep returning the focus back to your character, keep returning the focus back to your emotions, and just keep returning that to your center. Because when you have that foundation as your center, nobody can take anything from you. Because your worth is on your character and who you are as a person, not what you look like. And so they can't point at an insecurity because you don't have any. Because you've worked through your shit. That's why you're in this course. Hey-o. So that becomes then you're unfuckable with, and again, confidence, that's sexy. I want to also talk on real quick, there's an inward-outward focus here. A lot of this course has been inward. It's been a very deep inward journey. We've done a lot of the deep inner work. Now when we start, I think we already have, or you're about to next week, start going outward and talking to other people and doing some stuff that way and putting out into the world. This is a very pivotal part of the course because this is inward, meaning how you're talking to yourself, how you're viewing your body is an inward journey. But in terms of your focus, you also need to focus outward. And that's why towards the end of this course, after we work through and do all the things, now it's like, okay, focus outward. Because you can almost re-traumatize yourself by manically doing the inner work. Because then you're not having progress on anything in your life. That's like having blocks with money and trying to figure out what your money mindset is all the time and you're always having trouble with money. Yeah, because you're not going out there and making shit happen in the world. You're stuck meditating and praying and journaling. It's the same kind of a thing. So with the inner work and your emotions, you want to make sure your focus is also outward. You're focused on also having fun, connecting with other people. And, you know, when it comes to your body image, you don't want to manically look inward and you don't want to manically look outward. I've said this a few times in this video, but that's just confirmation that this is really important. You want to have a balance of both. You want to show up for yourself, and you want to love yourself and check yourself, but then you're also going to be like out in the world and having fun, and your awareness isn't even on your body. It's on having dope experiences with dope humans, because that's what this experience is all about, right? So that's also something. And I mentioned having fun, and I could just be like, yeah, just relax. Yeah, just have fun. But this might make it click to, yeah, we're going to do the homework assignment here in a second. That's really going to give you an experience of accepting your body. And then guess what? You get to move on. And you get to you just have fun in life. It's moment to moment awareness, and you don't have to blow it up and make it a thing. You know, because all you're doing is imprisoning yourself. We're building a relationship, and I can't stress that enough, with yourself and with your body. You're connecting to your body for the first time in a healthy way, maybe in your life. And it takes presence and persistence and time. So it's not like you have this experience in the course with what I'm about to give you, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm great. Like, I love myself forever. There's still going to be these insecurities. There's still going to be stuff showing up. Compassion, care, and stay present with it. Still show up, do the inner work, but don't just manically do the inner work. Also show up and have a good time and have fun in life. Because the more fun that you're having, the less you're overthinking, and the less you're stressing, and the less you're hating, have an opportunity to overthink and hate yourself, right? But if you're all just going out and having fun and you're not even doing the inner work, which that ain't you because you're already on this week in the course, then, you know, there's also a problem. So both and is really the important part on that. So without further ado, I think that is all that I had to say. Before I give you guys homework, like I had said earlier, I've been through it. I've had horrible binge eating disorder, and I've had lots of body dysmorphia, and mine was just obsessing so much about what I looked like and placing all of my value and my worth on that. Now it's the least impressive part of me, and I'm shredded as fuck and looking great and feeling great, more than I ever have in my life, and I'm paying less attention to it, which is the funny part. Kind of inward outward, like I was talking about before. So I kind of ran the gambit of the roller coaster of this stuff, and I'm sure I will, other things in the future. But I got to the point where I just said, you know what, enough's enough, and I'm just going to love my body. And when you get to that point of, I'm just gonna accept it, and it is what it is, and I'm here today. And I'm just going to keep working on myself, making it better. You deepen that relationship. You deepen that connection. You figure out what you do like in terms of a workout, what you don't like. You figure out the insecurities that you do have, and you show love and compassion and maybe realign to the truth. And the truth is, right? Think about it with your partner. If a partner was like, oh my God, I hate this about myself, you're usually like, wait, what the fuck? That's like sexy. Or that you look great. The same is true for you. There's that side of you that hates you and has insecurities, and you get to show up and say, dude, what the fuck? No, that's hot. And again, you're coming to confidence because you accept yourself. And that is sexy. It's not about what you look like. So no matter where you're at in this journey, I do want you to do this homework assignment. And this is something that I did a lot of, actually, when I let go of my fitness journey. So I did this a lot last year, ironically. And it's about loving yourself in the negatives and having compassion for yourself when you're hating yourself. That will lead you to the neutral place. And I'm sharing this with you because it worked with me. And also, I talked to a few coaches before recording this video that coach on body image and self-acceptance in terms of like body image acceptance and body positivity and everything. And they all were like, fuck yes, have them do that. Because I did that too. And that being mirror work. You've done it before. This time you're doing it naked. That's right. And there's no rules here, meaning there's nothing to say, right? You don't. I'm not giving you a script of like a template of say this to yourself and blah 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 blah. I literally want you to set a timer for 30 minutes, and you're gonna get naked, and preferably in front of a full body mirror, and just be with you. Have some time to do that, and you're not gonna do anything. You're gonna be. Meaning, you could, you'll get bored. It's 30 minutes, so you could start journaling. You could voice note and record the entire thing if you want to have a conversation with yourself. You know how to make eye contact. You know how to connect. So maybe call yourself out. Dude, enough is enough. Look at it. This is what you got. Let's fucking rock it. Give yourself a pep talk if you want to. If you're in front of the mirror and you start getting silent, I want you to just be aware of the thoughts that you're having. Maybe write them down. Raise your level of awareness. Maybe you've been extremely inhumane on yourself in terms of how you view your body. And start questioning it. Because you can't be in judgment and curiosity at the same time. So when you start beating yourself up, or all this is happening and you're having negative thoughts and fuck, like why I let myself go and now you're a fat piece of shit and whatever's happening. You can't be curious and judgmental at the same time. So turn that into curiosity. Wait a second, like, does that make me less lovable? Does that mean that nobody's going to love me because I have this thing? No. Oh. And that opens up space, and follow it with more curiosity. Well, what got me to this spot? Okay. Too much McDonald's and not enough working out. Well, I know that. Well, what could I do? I gotta work out. No, well, that's the other voice. No, I could start having fun and doing what Kevin said and just working out to feel good. I could do that. I could commit to that. I can make some small commitments and some small changes. We'll see where we go. You know what? And then maybe I told you I wasn't gonna give you a script, and here I'm giving you a script. Maybe go into like a vision of like, what I would love to feel like this wearing a certain something. So maybe get a vision for what you want to wear and how it's going to feel to wear it. Whether you have that dress or suit or whatever now or not, envision it, journal about it, or voice note about it, and then talk mainly about how it's going to feel and how you're going to feel walking around wearing that, and the level of confidence you're going to exude, and how when you're in that insecurity's gone, how's it going to feel? And the more you can get yourself in that space, the more you'll manifest it. And now notice you're doing this whole thing naked. So a lot of people don't even look at themselves naked. And it's massively uncomfortable for the first few minutes, as the other mirror work was before. But again, I do want you speaking at least in this one, or journaling. So you can journal if you really feel called. So maybe you'll cry. Maybe you'll get in front of the mirror and just start bawling your eyes out. That's healing. That's doing the work, by the way. Maybe you get in front of the mirror and you start having fun. Oh, what's up, sexy? I would love it if you get to the point in the 30 minutes where you kind of go through all the stages, right? Like it's awkward, and then you cry, and then you have this massive awareness shift, and then you're envisioning wearing this thing, and you're like, oh, get it, and you start dancing. If that happens, you're winning. Because that's going through the stages of a relationship and building a relationship, or reclaiming a relationship very fast. So that's your homework. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just do it what's true, whatever's true for you in the moment. And again, this is a tool. Don't use this one time and be like, okay, cool, that was my body image stuff. I'm done forever. And I should be body positive. Kevin, it didn't work. What the fuck? We're building a relationship here. So I would also throw it out there that this is also homework to spend more time naked when you get out of the shower. Just spend more time naked. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's a human body. Everybody's got one. You're good. And that alone is going to get you familiarized with your body and with your genitals and with everything, you. That way it because the law of familiarity, that the more familiar you are with it, the more neutral it is. Because if you're always covering up, you're always hiding, you always got these insecurities, you're building that gap more and more, wider and wider. So that's why when we do address it, it is going to feel painful. There might be tears, and that's okay. But on the other side of that is neutralizing it. And then when you get comfortable just being naked, guess what? That's confidence and that's sexy. So you see full circle here. It's a relationship that you build. 30 minutes of mirror work naked. Speak or journal. Be aware of the thoughts you're having and how you're speaking to yourself. Allow yourself to, whatever happens, happens. And I would also visualize into the future that dress, that suit, what you're going to wear and how it's going to make you feel. And, you know, that's going to help you with just an overall goal setting. But don't make it a bridge of like, when I blah, 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 I'll start feeling that. The important part with that goal, and the reason I'm having you go outward with this, is so that you can focus on feeling that stuff now. Because when I wear that dress, I'm going to feel so sexy, and I'm going to be like, I'm going to feel confident, and man, I'm going to be rocking it. Well, what if every day was like that, no matter what you were wearing? Obviously, what you wear matters, and it does help tremendously with your pep in your step, you know what I mean? But what if you had some like underlying level of confidence already and you didn't need that stuff? Something to think about. So again, that end result, then how is that going to make me feel? And I do want you to at least journal those, like how am I going to feel, and write that down, because that's what you're after. And then you just got to ask yourself, how can I feel more of that now? And how can I start building the relationship with my body to where I feel more this stuff more of the time? And that's just spending an extra 5-10 minutes when you get out of the shower, just being with yourself. I would love it if you like brushed your teeth naked. Dance, turn some music on, have fun with it, because guess what? The more fun you have, the less cortisol's in your bloodstream, and the less your body's holding on to fat, which means you get leaner. Hello. There's a tip for you guys. Anyway, I'm talking in circles, and I've repeated myself a lot in this video. That wasn't planned, but I think that's just confirmation of some of these things, and I really want this stuff to stick with you. It is the beginning of a relationship, and you're enough just as you are. Don't listen to the media if you got to buy the thing and wear the thing and that they're profiting on that, and those things have been sold to us. I mean, for me as a guy, it was like, you need this protein powder in order to build muscle. No, you need food and hard work. But I wasted so much money in supplements, right? And sure, do they help to some extent, a little bit, but they're not going to make it or break it for you. You know what I mean? Like the advertisements say. So the same is true, I'm sure, with women and like makeup, or what you're wearing, and so even what we're wearing for guys too. Just be aware of all this stuff. Reclaim your relationship with your body, but the focus on yourself, your character, not what you look like. And what you look like will definitely change.